Yes, you're welcome. I promised us that I will continue with the remedies for constipation. And that's what I want to do briefly today and right now. We have talked about constipation, the causes, health risks involved, and those that are affected most. And then I want to also talk about the remedies. Most of the remedies I've tried. Yes, there are several remedies, truly, but I have not tried all the remedies. I've gone through constipation, chronic constipation at various times and tried various remedies. And so here are the ones that worked on different occasions. Number one, water therapy cannot be overemphasized because it worked, it has been working, and still working, and works for everybody. When you take water first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, up to 6 or 7 glasses, as long as you are up to above 60 kg, if you wake up and start your day with lots of water on empty stomach, and then you do not eat late dinner, you will experience a relief if you have been going through constipation. And nowadays, we also encourage older adults to add some other things like lemon juice occasionally. If you are okay with it, because some say they are not okay with it. I have met some people say they are not okay with, maybe they have stomach ulcer or so, but I'll also be talking about the relationship and why we should stop, saying all the time that stomach ulcer is preventing us from taking or adding lemon juice once in a while, because it's an alkaline juice or fruit, though it's acidic on contact. So it is not something that we should avoid continuously or over a long period of time on the excuse that it causes ulcer. It's when you overdo it, when you take it too much continuously and you take large amount, then you may begin to have that feeling that complain of. In absence of that, it's a great addition to water therapy, as it helps the stomach also to produce digestive juice. Another thing that aids constipation for those who are going through constipation is exercise. Exercise worked. It has worked for me, and it's still working. Lots of exercise, especially in the morning, walking. It works. Go on a walk. Take a lot of water and go on a walk. It works. Another thing that works for constipation is taking legumes, plant-based protein. Yes, most of them are also rich in fiber. I didn't want to start with fiber because it's fiber all the way. I will still talk about it. But these legumes, beans, and all such plant-based foods are great for constipation, especially when you combine it with some other animal protein in small amount. It makes it complete. With complete amino acids, it works. Black-eyed cowpea, brown beans, kidney beans, all kinds of beans, they are great. Chickpea, all of them. There are lots of them. They are great for constipation. Then another thing that works for constipation, to tackle constipation, is taking lots of vegetable in the morning. I got to know this, recently. I have to confess that it was recently I got to know it. As you grow, the older you get, the more you learn, or the longer you live, the more you learn. So all along, I do take, things like nuts, fruits, and all of that. They're all good. But over time also, I've come to realize that taking lots of vegetable in the morning helps to cleanse the intestine and works well for those who are going through constipation. So I have also taken note of that. After I learned it, that it works for constipation. There are another thing that works for constipation is including raw foods. Raw foods in the morning. Foods like carrots. I never realized that carrot works for constipation. I don't know, but it's a great addition if you are trying to deal with constipation. Start your morning after water therapy with one little sized carrot. Don't take too much because you know that it's high in sugar. So just one medium carrot on empty stomach. You'll be surprised at the result that you'll get. And it's a great liver detox. It helps the liver. It helps to tackle constipation. I have also tested it. Another food that works perfectly well is the combination of carrot and cabbage. This is particularly for those who are going through stomach ulcer or experiencing stomach ulcer pain. You can blend it. I've also used that because the cabbage is a source of vitamin K, which helps to, heal the stomach, or for those who are experiencing something like signs or symptoms of bleeding from stomach ulcer. It helps to supply the vitamin K in cabbage, helps to supply the nutrient needed to stop bleeding from ulcers or other wounds that may not be visible to the eyes because it's internal. So it's a great addition, and some say they boil it. Some say they boil it. They boil the cabbage, but I'm not a fan of boiling or cooking. But I rather also suggest that you can, let it heat a little bit, because it's actually one of those foods that, are tagged as goitronin food, so that it won't be too harsh on the gut. And again, it helps in case of if there are bacteria, because eating raw food, we know what it is. You have to wash it with vinegar and other things, but in spite of all of that, sometimes I still feel like foods like cabbage should pass through a little bit heat, no matter how little. You don't have to overcook it, but if you include it, especially before your main meal, if you are not diabetic, because it's quite high in sugar, I must not stop saying it. If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, you must be careful too with foods that are high in sugar, such as cabbage and carrot, combining them together. And you want to use them for remedies, you must be very careful because of sugar. When the sugar rises, you get a different result. So it's great for constipation if you know how to add it up with other foods. It's easily digestible. That is one of the important points, the strong points of cabbage. It's a cancer fighting food. It's a low calorie food. But a lot of people are not familiar with it. I don't know. A lot of people are used to, the regular ones they take. But once in a while, you can give yourself a treat and start your meal with cabbage, a mixture of cabbage, a bowl of cabbage and carrot. You can eat the cabbage a little, or just like a salad, with a sprinkle of cinnamon in order to reduce the spike in blood sugar. You can mix it that way, just little quantity. Don't take it too much, because is high in sugar. I'm avoiding it. I have to be honest with you. I am not taking it all that. I just take it with caution. Because gone are the days when I just, eat it the way I like, just enjoy myself with it. I can't do that anymore. I have to be cautious because of sugar. You don't have to wait until you are diagnosed, as I often tell us, until you are diagnosed of diabetes. Once you are a certain age, begin to be cautious, especially if you have a family history of diabetes. You have to begin to take precaution if you get to a certain age. So cabbage is a great one for it, whether boiled or raw. Carrot is too. All those low calorie veggies like onions, they're all great for constipation. I've tested all of them too, but they are high in sugar. I don't rush for them all the time, but I also try to mix cinnamon in the meal wherever onions occurs in large amount. I have to ensure that there is something to help with insulin production, such foods like cinnamon, such spices. There are several other spices like coriander that do the same job. There are several of them. They can help if you suspect that a particular food is high in sugar and you still want to enjoy it because of the health benefits. Another thing that has worked, which I shared with us recently, is some teas, bitter teas like kudin tea. It works when you take it on empty stomach and give it time to work. And then follow it up with a fiber rich. It helps. And not only the kudin tea, which is a Chinese herbal tea, there are a lot of other bitter teas. Sometimes when the sugar is too much in the body, it kind of creates problem. It aids constipation, as a matter of fact. So when you bring in something like bitters, it's supposed the liver to function. It helps the liver to function. And when the liver is functioning, it will be able to throw out the waste. That is the problem. It will be able to throw out, when the liver is in good health, it will be able to deal with the fats and throw out, release the waste and be free. But when there is no bitter in the food at all, the liver will be clogged with oils, fats, and all kinds of things. The liver will be struggling. Sometimes will be sending more things that are hurting to our liver. And not only that, if you are not listening to your body or to what your body is saying, like I do, if you have no skill in listening to say, what is this place saying? What is this place saying to me? If you don't do it, you will notice you will just ignorantly even take more drugs in order to manage something that ordinary abstaining from a particular food for a while or introducing a particular one can manage. You just, begin to take more work, give the liver more work to do in the form of drugs or medications. Because each time you take a drug or take medication, it is the liver and the kidney that you have given work to do. They have to work because these things were produced with some things to preserve them, which must be removed or extracted from the real drug that the body needs. Then there are other ways that come along with it. So the liver and the kidney will have to deal with it. There are other body organs too. So they will have to work to take out this waste. And in good time too, like something like malaria medicines, most times they are even written on the packet, on the instruction, that you take a lot of water so that it will clear off the liver within 24 hours. And even in spite of this, many people don't even read these instructions. They just take it with little water. Or some will say they took it with drink, or they don't like what they can take it with malt, or they can take it with any drink, any other drink, which is wrong. So, but most of these medication, they write the instruction that you should take water a lot so that within a specified number of hours, like some of them will say 12 hours, some say 24 hours, it will clear up the liver. There is a reason for those instructions. And we need to be also reading them because they know the damage it will do to these organs if left for over 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, for over a day, 2 days, and on like that. It's going to hurt those organs more than you are thinking. That's why we must be careful. We must not just be rushing for these medications. Many have gone because of it. Maybe self-medication or wrong medication or not taking it the right way or following it up with lots of water as always indicated. So another thing also that works, I said we should add bitters. Another thing that works for constipation, which I already shared I think at one point I shared it also that coffee works. Now, it's good to have coffee at home. It's a source of caffeine, I agree. But I tell you, it's a liver supporting food at such critical times like when you need to tackle constipation and sometimes it's not responding. Sometimes it won't just respond. But when coffee comes in, honestly, it has worked wonderfully for me. I had no choice but to come and share it and let the people know that there is a way out. There are several ways that you can tackle constipation. And I shared it. I just added it after like 2 days. The thing was becoming worrisome. So I added, a teaspoon of dates powder, which is also a gut supporting food. You know the date fruit. And after taking it, in less than 10 minutes, I was sweating all over. It was like a powerful force coming. It was sweat all over with force. The toxins wants to go out. And as the sweat was just oozing out, the next thing I heard was, boom, it's time to go to the loo. And I said, yes, 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 this one has hit it. I know some of you understand what I'm saying. There are times you try and try and try, it's not going. It's especially when you are fond of eating bread and biscuits. No, we were in those errors. I was in for a long time. So when you take bread or biscuit, it seems as if something was used to lock it up. It just wouldn't loosen. And that's why I advise and warn us, those of us lovers of bread. I used to be, but honestly, I tell you today, I've learned my lessons. If you must deal with constipation, if you must triumph over it, constipation, then you must do away with some of those foods that you love. Cakes, biscuits, bread, those delicacies that you love. You must have to do away with them if you love your health. If you love your health. So, you prepare it, or you can take it bitter. Like that, it works. Now, there are several other foods also that works. Something like the water leaf. It works. When you prepare it with the okra, I prepare it together. If you want me to make a recipe of what mine looks like, you can make a comment. I say, Mama G, can you please show us what this your soup looks like? But I tell you, it's a great aid to God's help for our gods, because both of them, they seem to work together. There seems to be a synergy that exists between this combo and makes it, one is slippery with mucilage, that's the okra, and then it helps to move through. And the other one too is fibrous also and easier to digest. So it works. The combination, I use it in making soups. It may sound strange to some of us, but you can give it a try. Very easy also to make. Very easy. You can add tomatoes if you like. Add it. You can cook it with fresh fish, whatever. If you are going through constipation, another vegetable that works for constipation for me is green. Yes, some people call it spinach. It's green. take lots of it, add lots of onions, and then it helps to move the bowel faster. Not all vegetables are good. There is one vegetable I will tell you to beware of if you are experiencing condition. That is the pumpkin leaves. That is the ugu, we call it. Especially the hard ones, those ones that are matured. If you take it when going through constipation, it will lock up everywhere because it contains these hard strands are in the middle of it that takes time whether to digest or something. It's just not a plus for digestive health, but it's a superfood. I love it. But if you can prepare it, getting those tender areas, tender ones of the vegetable, the ugu, wonderful. It's great. But when you go for those ones that they use fertilizers and looks big and bogus, you need to take lots of water. But it's a great vegetable. Tastes nice and it fights inflammations, helps to boost iron. So, but you must go for the very tender ones, very tender ones. And in the absence of that, you can also mix it with the water leaf. Water leaf is super for, constipation. So you can add a little. And those from Cross River, they cook lots of it with vegetable and they know how to cook it to help to cleanse the intestine. So you can add it little, but if you cook lots of it, it may create, may feed constipation. Although some of you may not have it the way, because I told us that I will be teaching based on some of my own experience. What I have tasted, what I have used, the one that has happened to me, and your own also could be different. So you can make a comment, you can drop your comment if you think it's not the same with yours, so that we can also, explore it. See, we keep learning every day. We keep learning. So using lots of vegetable in your diet is great. But remember that when you are taking fiber, you must include lots of water. Otherwise, you will experience more constipation. Now, another fruit that helps, all the fruits are great for constipation. All fruits. But there are specific ones that I have been using that has been working for me. I take them occasionally. I remember there was a time I was taking I was taking lots of pineapple. That was at the early time, and I didn't know, Then, you know, I was still learning. So I always take lots of it, lots of it. I enjoy it. It's nice. It's a source of sulfur. Until my sugar rose up, I didn't know why. By then, I was still in that category or that class of people who say, it's fruit now, let's eat it, let's enjoy ourselves. It's fruit. No. I was really, really enjoying my pineapple. Every time I buy fresh ones and enjoy. Feel good. It's a bone strengthening food. It's great for your health. But my dear, my sugar shoot up. And nobody told me to stop. But I take it now, but moderately. Once in a while, I go for it. Small amount. I don't have to, eat it the way I used to. If I eat it today, to take some days before I try it again, or weeks. And I always take a small amount. Just don't want to lose out. And it's always best when you take beans. If you have a way to get pineapple around, follow it up with pineapple. As a follow up, because it's a source of bromelain, which is an enzyme that specializes in digesting those beans, particularly those proteins that want to stay longer in the body. It helps to bring them out so that they don't cause problem. It's one of the foods that if you consume beans, you can use it to aid, to support your kidney health, so that the waste that comes as a result of the digestion of the beans. The too much waste does not cause problem for your liver and your kidney. So pineapple is one of the foods you can also use. It's great for constipation, but you can also combine it with cucumbers. I've always said cucumbers without the peels. Always combine it with non-sweet fruits. Don't start combining pineapple with apples, pineapples with bananas, pineapples with all the fruits, orange and whatever. No. Even if you're not diabetic, don't go that way. It can also, nobody is, is left out when it comes to blood sugar rising. No, let me put it that way, this way. Nobody, no mature adult who is up to 45 or 50 or about that age or over 50 should just go ahead and eat sugary foods uncontrolled on the grounds that it's not diabetic. No, that's a wrong perception. You must have in mind that your sugar could rise above the normal range. And that is not to say that you are diabetic, but when it continues consistently, that is when insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes could be knocking. But it could rise above normal and create something like an emergency, a complication that could lead to hospital emergency just because the sugar rose too high at a particular point in time. And it could even cause organ damage if it's not quickly addressed. So that is why we should always be careful how we consume the fruits, the sugary fruits. When tackling constipation, we should be careful with the sugary varieties. We should avoid those ones that are too sweet. There are several other things we can do. Another food that tackles constipation very well is papaya leaves. You can boil it as tea. It works. It's a bitter tea. Just boil it as tea in the morning and drink it. There are several other bitter foods like neem leaves. It's great for constipation too. I've tried it. Dogoyaro, that's what they call it. There are several others. This stonebreaker, philanthus, marus, as they call it. They are all bitter, but you will discover that most of the bitter foods are great. I've tested these ones and they work. Even the berry seed, which is quite bitter too, it tackles constipation as well. And that's why those bitter foods should be taken cautiously. Shouldn't just take them frequently because of their effect on the intestine. When you over clean the intestine, it's not good. Too much cleaning is not good. You clean out even the mucus, the mucus that protects the cells, the mucus that helps, that supports the gut. You can clean all out and wash everything in the course of cleansing. And that is why I do not support all those drugs that tend to wash, cause diarrhea, or I want to cleanse my system. There was one I tried, they call it miracle seed, and it was all over the internet, everywhere. Miracle seed, take it, fruit for fertility and all of that will cleanse you. I tried it, and then honestly, just 2 seeds, and I said I will never try it again. And I've also, some people have asked me questions. Some of us in the group, some of people have even confronted me physically to ask me questions about the seed. That they want to take it, they want to do this, they want to lose weight, they want to lose weight overnight. They want to just flush out everything, all the waste, all the fat, all the constipation. I said no. be careful with that seed, that miracle seed. Be careful with it because I have tested it. It will put just 2 seed. It won't start immediately. It's a powerful seed. When it starts, you will be running to the toilet like 12, let me say more than 11, 12 times. I know what that does. The medical personnel will tell you what that does. I mean, experienced physicians to the electrolyte in your body. Somebody could just collapse in the toilet if it's given to an elderly person, for instance, somebody who is already over 65 or thereabout, and you go and bring that miracle seed, for instance, and maybe because the seeds are tiny, because they are quite tiny, I see them all, they're in the market, but you need proper guidance when you are taking that for such things for constipation. You just take the miracle seed and maybe you give it to the elderly woman, maybe 65 years, 70, because they normally experience chronic constipation. But when managing it, you have also to be careful. If you give such an elderly person that miracle seed, it could, get to that point that the person could collapse in the toilet and just give up from there. So we shouldn't just, because of all we are reading internet, because of all that we are hearing, all the wonderful testimonies, yes, it could be working, but just be properly guided so that you don't lose your life. I've tried some other things for constipation too, like the one they use, I can't remember it anymore. I'll try to remember it, but they have to use the help, with the help of a pipe, and pull out the waste. That one too, it works when the thing is critical, the constipation, but it's risky too. My dear, I have to tell us the truth. I'm not doing it so that maybe for any particular gain, but to tell you the truth, it's risky. It can claim someone's life too. So when you are trying to manage constipation, you must also consider the age of the person, you must consider the health status, you must also look at a lot of things. Don't just say you heard it from somewhere and somebody used it and it worked and you just get. I was at home sometimes ago, somebody called me for an emergency, was in the hospital already, very critical, and was already admitted, I think for severe headaches, and a lot of, the person was really, really, it was really life threatening, and he was calling me. I said, what is the problem? He said he took, I don't want to mention the name of that herbal medicine or herbal something, but the person was taking it quite expensive, quite expensive, but that doesn't mean that we should go for it. But person was taking it, but when it began to work, some of them you may take it continuously and expecting them to work, expecting the result, I mean the effect to show immediately, but it may take some time before they go down, they go deeper into the body to start to give effect, and before that effect comes on, you've already overdosed it because you're expecting, quick result. You want to start you want it to start working immediately. You want to see the constipation relieved. And as a matter of fact, I have to let us know that most effective remedies for constipation, they don't work instantly. Mark the word effective. They don't work instantly. Anything that you take for constipation and instantly you are off to toilet, well, let me not put a blanket kind of judgment on it. Why? Because it could be that there are some things that he needs to take off immediately. But the real problem is still right inside. Unless maybe in the process of the quick run to the toilet, later on you now begin to bring out the real waste. Otherwise, I tell you that most things that make you rush into the toilet, they are not the very effective remedies. The very effective remedies take about 6, 7, 8 hours or a whole day before the offload, let me use the word offload, before the offload starts to come. So when you take such things, there are some foods too that work like that. Most beautifully, lemon and ginger combined together are perfect, but they don't work instantly. I have said that the difference, I've told you that before, that the difference between lemon and lime is that lemon takes longer because it goes deeper into the cells, but lime works faster. Yes. When you take, if you are going through constipation now and you mix lime and take, before you know it, you are off to the toilet. It's great for constipation. I've tried it too. But when you try lemon juice with ginger with bark and boil together and drink in the morning, you may not go to the toilet for the whole day. Follow up with other fiber, I always say. But when you eventually start towards the evening, that's my own experience. When you start going towards the evening, you will notice a good cleanse. I mean, a healthy cleanse. Now, there is a difference between a healthy cleanse when you when the constipation is being tackled. When there is a healthy cleanse, you will know it. But when you are not properly cleansed, you too will know it, that you are not cleansed yet. So most of the foods that helps to give you a good cleanse, they don't work instantly. Something like the green apple. The green apple gives a good cleanse deep down to pull out toxins, but it doesn't work instantly. And as a matter of fact, it works two ways. Even when you are experiencing diarrhea too, that it helps to also